terms of what our ability is to positively identify stuff from fighter aircraft that are going several hundred miles an hour past, essentially, in terms of relative motion, a stationary object that was not very big. So we don't know what this exactly looked like, and again, we're still not sure exactly what the purpose of it was or who owned it.
Well, he's got a necktie on and he's standing in front of a podium, but is this normal? Is this the way things are supposed to work? We shot these things down, but we have no idea what they... That's what he's saying. That's what they're all saying, and maybe that's true. On the other hand, this is the same administration that sabotaged the Nord Stream pipeline, the single biggest act of industrial terrorism in history, and continues to lie about it. So on the other hand, maybe it's not true. NORAD says the U.S. has just readjusted its radar filter, so all of a sudden we're seeing all these objects in the sky we didn't know were there, flying at altitudes that pose an obvious threat to commercial airliners. Okay. And you should take that seriously, especially because it's just been reported, we cannot confirm this, but you've got to wonder, that at least one of these objects was a National Weather Service balloon. Again, unconfirmed, but if that's true, it would mean the Biden administration needs fighter jets to shoot down its own balloon, and we really are becoming Fetterman Nation. Let's hope that's not true. We're starting to suspect it might be. Either way, what we know for certain tonight is that there is chaos in America's domestic airspace. That has never happened before. It's not a good sign. There's chaos on the ground, too, a lot of it. 10 days ago, for example, a train derailed in East Palestine, Ohio. That's about 50 minutes outside Pittsburgh. Apparently, there was some kind of mechanical failure. We still don't have details on what that failure was. Of course we don't. We do know about 50 cars derailed. At least 10 of them were carrying thousands of gallons of highly dangerous chemicals, including vinyl chloride, which causes cancer. Why?
It started with a thunderous boom and then a huge plume of thick black smoke that could be seen for miles. This was the moment officials in East Palestine, Ohio had been planning for, a controlled release of toxic chemicals from several train cars at the site of a derailment, one that has forced thousands from their homes.
And all the way around, everybody's frustrated, like to go home.
The decision to conduct a controlled release came just days after the train derailed in the rural Ohio community, sparking a massive fire. As the blaze continued to burn through the weekend, concerns quickly escalated. That's because 5 of the train cars carried the chemical vinyl chloride, an unstable material with the potential to explode, shooting deadly shrapnel up to a mile away and releasing toxic fumes into the air.
We don't want to second-guess anybody. We've got to assume everybody involved is doing their best under a highly stressful situation. But did you see that mushroom cloud? That was caused on purpose. And maybe there's a good reason. Again, no second-guessing. But what it means is those clouds of toxic smoke flew up and out. And that toxic smoke almost immediately began killing animals. Dead fish washed up on shore. As one hazardous materials specialist put it, we basically nuked the town with chemicals. So then representatives from the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, arrived to restore calm. Yes, an EPA spokesman explained, chemicals from the derailed train did enter the local watershed. And yes, they did kill fish. But the drinking water supply remains totally safe. The fish are dead, but go ahead and fill your thermos and brew some coffee. Everything's fine. Now, we don't know if the locals in East Palestine are drinking water tonight, but we can tell you the Biden administration doesn't seem too concerned about it either way. Donald Trump counties in the last presidential election. That's not exactly the Democratic Party's core demographic. Fentanyl, toxic waste spills, whatever. They're not our voters. And by the way, what does a chemical spill have to do with climate change? If you can't use it to sell solar panels, it's not really an environmental disaster. That's the rule in Washington. So no one in the Biden administration bothered to issue warnings to communities that might be in the path of those toxic mushroom clouds you saw floating up from the train wrecks. Because no one cared enough to do that. Pete Buttigieg is the official who's supposed to be in charge of our transportation infrastructure. Technically, he's the transportation secretary. At an appearance today, he seemed to have no idea that there was a train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. His real concern, he explained, is that we have too many damn white construction workers in this country.
We have heard way too many stories from generations past of infrastructure where you got a neighborhood, often a neighborhood of color, that finally sees the project come to them, but everyone in the hard hats on that project looking like, doing the good-paying jobs, don't look like they came from anywhere near the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's the problem. Too many white guys in hard hats. Why didn't we realize this before we built all this infrastructure that's now crumbling? It's actually not funny, and future historians will marvel at just how much damage one incompetent narcissist can cause when he's elevated to a serious job, like transportation secretary. Here's a guy who could not, on a bet, who could not at gunpoint change his own tires, who oversees our roads, railways, and airports, all of which are crumbling from mismanagement and neglect. And not just from mismanagement and neglect, but also from actual acts of sabotage. Over the last 2 years, the FBI has investigated more than 40 cases of rail sabotage in Washington state alone, in one state. Now, a lot of those attacks involve so-called shunt devices. Those are wires stretched between tracks that interfere with the train's electrical signals and cause derailment. In one incident, just before Christmas in 2020, a shunt caused a train to derail in Custer, Washington. That train spilled 30,000 gallons of crude oil and forced locals to evacuate their homes. Well, that's not the environmental disaster that Joe Biden talks about. In fact, in the majority of cases, people who commit acts of terrorism against infrastructure, whoever they are never punished, and the ones who are caught aren't really punished. One woman who tried to destroy trains using a shunt got out of jail after only a year. Oh. So no one's paying any attention, and no one really seems to care, because what does that have to do with environmental racism and climate? And possibly as a result of that attitude, there are an awful lot of train derailments in this country, many more than you may realize. In the last calendar year, more than 1,000 trains went off the tracks in the United States. Well, how's that for a metaphor? Just today, 2 more trains derailed. One of them was in South Carolina, and one was in Texas near Houston. The train near Houston was also carrying hazardous materials, as so many trains are. What's going on here exactly? We're not even going to guess. But we can tell you the chaos is not limited to our rail system. There have also been many recent attacks on our power grid. Very few of those attacks have been widely reported. Last year, there were more than 100 attacks of them in the United States, attacks on our power grid. In North Carolina this winter, for example, nearly 50,000 people lost their power in freezing temperatures when somebody shot up 2 energy substations. And so on. Why is that not a big story? Oh, it's not a story at all. And of course, at the same time, we've also seen a series of bizarre accidents befalling the food industry, threatening our food supply. That would include unexplained fires and plane crashes and processing plants, to chicken feed that seems to stop egg production. Boy, next they'll be coming for the water. Oh, wait, they are! Less than a month into the Biden administration was also a highly sophisticated attack on the water supply outside Tampa.
Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Galtieri says a water treatment plant operator first noticed the remote access hack. The bad actor increased the amount of sodium hydroxide, or lye, in the water supply from 100 parts per million to more than 11,000 for the 15,000 residents of Oldsmar, Florida. The increase of sodium hydroxide in the water supply could have caused vomiting, chest, and abdominal pain.
This type of activity and this type of hacking of critical infrastructure is not necessarily limited to just water supply systems. It can be anything.
Oh, an attack on a water supply. That's weird. I didn't read that in the New York Times. But what's interesting, not to connect the dots or anything, that was not the only attack on our water supply that year. In January 2021, there was a similar effort to poison the water treatment plant that serves the San Francisco Bay Area. An unidentified hacker accessed the facility's computers remotely. According to NBC, quote, after logging in, the hacker deleted programs that the water plant used to treat drinking water. Now, fortunately, in this case, somebody noticed it. The next day, the attack was discovered and those programs were reinstalled, so nobody got poisoned. But they kept trying. There were similar hacks of water treatment facilities in California in August of 2021. There was one in Maine in July of 2021. There was one in Pennsylvania in May of 2021. In Nevada in March. In New Jersey in September of 2020. So who's looking after our water supply? Water, that's kind of basic. Well, that's the job of the EPA. But what does protecting the water have to do with passing out cash in the name of remediating environmental racism? Oh, nothing! So they're not paying attention. In fact, they're not paying attention to such an extent that even the Washington Post, which is a shill for the administration if there ever was one, pointed out that, quote, for more than 2 decades, the EPA has not been resourced or organized to secure the nation's water and wastewater sector against physical and cyber threats. Wait a second. So nobody's paying attention to the most critical infrastructure, not the racist roads, but food, water, energy, transportation infrastructure, food, water, energy infrastructure. What does that add up to? Well, that adds up to a country. You can't have a country without those things. And in every single case, whatever the cause, our food, water, energy, and infrastructure are being degraded. Who knows why? If you didn't know anybody, you'd think there might be a war going on. Why is no one talking about it? J.D. Vance is a senator in the U.S. Senate. He represents the state of Ohio. We're happy to have him join us tonight. Senator, thank you so much for coming on tonight. The tragedy in Palestine, in your state, kind of points up that something is kind of wrong with the fundamentals. I mean, if there are hundreds of train derailments, like, who's paying attention to this stuff and trying to prevent it?
Well, Tucker, we've had hundreds of train derailments after we spent over $1 trillion on infrastructure in this country. So the fact that this isn't getting obviously better is a major indictment of the people spending the money and what they're spending the money on. Now, we know, if you listen to Secretary Buttigieg today, that they are focused more on whether we have too many white men in construction jobs than he is on the fundamentals of his job, which is ensuring we have a viable transportation infrastructure in this country. And unfortunately, my constituents in East Palestine have been some of the main victims of the fact that we have failing infrastructure in our country, again, after spending tons of money in an effort to actually fix it. So the problem we have, Tucker, is that we are ruled by unserious people who are worried about fake problems instead of the real fact that our country is falling apart in some of the most important ways. You mentioned the Environmental Protection Agency. Of course, it says it right there. It should be focused on clean air, clean water. It's the thing that I'm most focused on for the people of East Palestine, but so often they're focused on environmental racism and other ridiculous things instead of fixing the problem that they are established to fix.
You got elected to the Senate in part because you said, look, the people that I grew up with, in your case, literally that you grew up with and are related to, are dying of drugs, and no one in Washington seems to care. This seems a corollary to that. They talk a lot about the environment and environmental racism, but this seems like an actual environmental disaster. I don't expect any urgency from the EPA or from Washington at all. Is it because these are not their voters?
I think that's a big part of it. I think that the entire country, the media complex, the leaders of this country have decided to disregard the people of East Palestine. If you look at the way that this story has been covered, if it's been covered at all, it's about how, you know, there are poor people in East Palestine who have been victimized by this disaster. Well, of course that's true, but you want journalists asking tough questions about what's going on. You want to know, for example, what level of vinyl chloride is actually acceptable in the water. I've been trying to get an answer to that question for days. I haven't been able to get an answer to it. Why is vinyl chloride showing up in the Ohio River in West Virginia and Cincinnati, hundreds of miles away from where this accident took place? There are a lot of questions, and we don't, unfortunately, have a media that's actually interested in asking those questions and answering them.
It's just crazy. All these people are like defacing paintings because they care about the earth. If you care about the earth, clean air and water is the first step. I mean, it's like... Anyway, I appreciate if you can't get an answer as a sitting U.S. Senator from the state affected, that just tells you everything right there. Thank you, Senator.
We're working it, Tucker. Thank you.
Amen. So nobody will say what these flying objects we keep shooting down are. We think it's worth pressing a little bit on that question. We shoot something down, like you should know what it is and where did it come from, how did it get over our country. Our next guest has some idea. We'll be right back. There's a puzzling level of secrecy around these objects that the Pentagon keeps shooting down. They tell us they shot them down. They tell us all about how they shot them down, but they'll tell us nothing about the objects. You know, they have footage of the objects, but of course they're not releasing any of it. What is this? Well, it's certainly not the first time it's happened. Nearly 20 years ago, fighter pilots captured images of the now famous Tic Tac UFO off the coast of Southern California. Chad Underwood is a former Navy pilot. His plane is the one that took those pictures. That's footage the Pentagon hid for decades, so he has a master's degree in this kind of thing. We're very happy to have him join us tonight. Chad Underwood, thank you so much for coming on. So, given your familiarity with scenarios like this, what do you think's going on here?
Not quite sure. The differences that I've noticed in 2004 versus present day is the erratic nature of which these objects were flying. In 2004, they were much more erratic, as you've documented. And today, it seems a little bit more predictable. And what surprises me is the rules of engagement are literally being rewritten in front of us. And we have, as a tactical aviator, we have rules that we have to follow in order to get authority to shoot an aircraft down. Yeah. And now it's coming from a commander-in-chief level of United States, Canada, etc., which is kind of the trump card, if you will, and it's a get-out-of-jail-free card for the pilots, that's for sure. But it's just very different.
It is. Really quickly, if you could elaborate on that for those of us who've never been fighter pilots. It's unusual to get the order from the commander-in-chief or Canadian Prime Minister to go ahead and shoot something down. The pilots don't typically get that. Is that
no, we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Normally we operate autonomously, and we go and identify an aircraft, and then we either shoot it down or we don't. And if it's a presidential order that's saying you shall shoot down this aircraft, and it changes the game entirely. And we're literally watching those rules of engagement being changed. Not really changed, but altered in every way from both sides. And it's a kind of a dangerous place to be, because it's you know, this has been an interesting couple of weeks, and we'll see what happens from here.
Yeah, I have the feeling, as in your case, 19 years ago, we're going to learn that what we've been told is different from what actually happened. But we'll see. Chad Underwood, thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Your time has come.
So the Biden...
Hey, let me take the one question from the most interesting guy that I know in the press. Got you.
Mr. President, there had not been a U.S. service member killed in combat in Afghanistan since February of 2020. You set a deadline, you pulled troops out, you sent troops back in, and now 12 Marines are dead. You said the buck stops with you. Do you bear any responsibility for the way that things have unfolded in the last 2 weeks?
I bear responsibilities for fundamentally all that's happened of late. But here's the deal. You know, I wish you one day say these things. You know as well as I do that the former president made a deal with the Taliban that he would get all American forces out of Afghanistan by May 1. In return, the commitment was made, and that was a year before. In return, he was given a commitment that the Taliban would continue to attack others, but would not attack any American forces. Remember that? I'm not being serious. I'm asking you a question. Because before... No, wait a minute. I'm asking you a question. Is that accurate? Because I see not. What? I think they have an issue that people are likely to get hurt. Some, as we've seen, have gotten killed, and that it is messy. The reason why, whether my friend will acknowledge it or has reported it, the reason why there were no attacks on Americans, as you said, from the date until I came into office, was because the commitment was made by President Trump, I will be out by May 1st. In the meantime, you agree not to attack any Americans. That was the deal. That's why no American was attacked.
Did you squarely stand by your decision to pull out?
Yes, I do. Because look at it this way, and I have another meeting for real. But imagine where we'd be if I had indicated on May the 1st I was not going to renegotiate an evacuation date. We were going to stay there. I'd have only one alternative. Pour thousands more troops back into Afghanistan to fight a war that we had already won relative to why the reason we went in the first place.
It's your turn.
I have never been of the view that we should be sacrificing American lives to try to establish a democratic government in Afghanistan, a country that has never once in its entire history been a united country and is made up, I don't mean this in a derogatory, made up of different tribes who have never, ever, ever gotten along with one another. And so, as I said before, this is the last comment I'll make. We'll have more chance to talk about this, unfortunately, beyond, because we're not out yet. If Osama bin Laden, as well as Al-Qaeda, had chosen to launch an attack when they left Saudi Arabia out of Yemen, would we have ever gone to Afghanistan? Even though the Taliban completely controlled Afghanistan at the time, would we have ever gone? I know it's not fair to ask you questions, it's rhetorical, but raise your hand if you think we should have gone and given up thousands of lives and tens of thousands of wounded. Our interest in going was to prevent Al-Qaeda from re-emerging, first to get bin Laden, wipe out Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, prevent that from happening again. As I've said 100 times, terrorism is metastasized around the world. We have greater threats coming out of other countries, a heck of a lot closer to the United States. We don't have military encampments there. We don't keep people there. We have over the horizon capability to keep the people there. Ladies and gentlemen, it was time to end a 20-year war. Thank you so much.
Truly breathtaking. That exchange, absolutely the worst moment I have seen in presidential history in my lifetime. I wasn't around for Nixon resigning, and I was barely following politics with Bill Clinton, but this has to be the top of the top. Peter Ducey asking Joe Biden what responsibility he holds for the death of Americans in Afghanistan. Joe Biden crumbling and cracking like a ball of aluminum foil, absolute catastrophe. You saw him crumble there at the podium. Just devastating stuff. Just the worst imagery I've ever seen of a president, and indeed the most shame I've ever seen brought to the office. You Biden voters, you win.
I love what you've done to the place.
Goosebumps talking about this. I got that same spidey sense tingle I had with Spidey. The United States Attorney's Office. There is no, listen to this, please listen. There is not a chance in hell that they didn't know that what they put in that charging document.
It's your turn. Perhaps you should manage your portfolio. Congratulations! Well done. I wish you luck. Sometimes you have to pay the price. Your turn starts now. Don't give up. Persistence is the key to success. I wish you luck. Sometimes bad things happen. Smart investors never give up. Let's play. Someone already owns this property. Time to pay the rent. It's your turn. Home sweet home. Have you thought about upgrading? Let's roll the dice.
Look at his eyes again.
Your rent is due. Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. You certainly had other plans for your money. Your time has come. Sometimes you have to pay the price. Let's roll the dice.
You'll come later. You'll be fine.
Whoa, you know what you're doing. You're home. Maybe it's time to manage your portfolio.
We're not done cooking yet, though. So.
I wish you luck. I love
Melanie, where's the little girl? Okay.
Let's play. Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. Not good. Not good at all. Your turn starts now. You certainly had other plans for your money. It's your turn. Someone already owns this property. Time to pay the rent. Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. Sometimes bad things happen. Smart investors never give up. I wish you luck. Your rent is due. What do you want to trade? Trading is the heart of business. Your time has come. That's what I like to see. Sometimes you have to pay the price. Let's play. Don't give up. Persistence is the key to success. Let's roll the dice. Sometimes you have to pay the price. Your turn starts now. Home sweet home. Have you thought about upgrading? It's your turn. Sometimes bad things happen. Smart investors never give up. Let's play. Investing in this city. Perhaps you should manage your portfolio. Great! Mighty oaks from little acorns grow. Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. You must pay this player. I wish you luck. You certainly had other plans for your money. Your time has come. Someone already owns this property. Time to pay the rent. Let's roll the dice. Your rent is due. Your turn starts now. Impressive. This town has never looked so great. I love what you've done to the place. Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. Successful people make their own luck. Your time has come. You certainly had other plans for your money. I wish you luck. Sometimes bad things happen. Smart investors never give up. Let's play. This is what I call a safe spot. You must pay this player. Let's play. Don't give up. Persistence is the key to success. This town has never looked so great. Welcome to Monopoly. Let's roll the dice. Someone already owns this property. Time to pay the rent. I wish you luck. Sometimes you have to pay the price. Your turn starts now. Whoa, you know what you're doing. You certainly had other plans for your money. Your time has come. Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. You must pay this player. Your turn starts now. You're home. Maybe it's time to manage your portfolio. That's how we create our legacy. Well done. You are headed for the top. You're getting serious. It's your turn. You can't always decide what's going to happen to you. Let's roll the dice. Someone already owns this property. Time to pay the rent. I wish you luck. Home sweet home. Have you thought about upgrading? Let's play. Don't give up. Persistence is the key to success. Your time has come.
Big. Greg Solo.
I hope you're feeling lucky. Your rent is due. I wish you luck. Truly unfortunate. Let's roll the dice. Let's see if chance is on your side. Let's play. Double. You can't always decide what's going to happen to you. Sometimes bad things happen. Smart investors never give up. Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. Luck is on your side. Whatever happens, don't settle. Your turn starts now. What rotten luck. It's your turn. I love what you've done to the place. How about investing in this city? Let's roll the dice. How did you do that? Don't give up. Persistence is the key to success. Let's play. Your rent is due. I wish you luck. Sometimes you have to pay the price. Your time has come. Hey, that's a good roll. You certainly had other plans for your money. Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. Someone already owns this property. Time to pay the rent. It's your turn. It's time to find out whether you have good luck or bad luck. I wish you luck. You must pay this player.
Top story, calling them both political stunts. It's just part of a new round of denials, dismissals, and deflections coming from the Biden administration. The president brushing off the growing scandal surrounding his son Hunter and the Biden family's business dealings during an interview yesterday.
One of the things Republicans say is a priority for them is investigating your family, your son Hunter, your brothers, Jim. They talk about access that they say others have gotten because of you, because of your political success. How do you plan to deal with that?
The public's not going to pay attention to that. They want these guys to do something. The only thing they can do is make up things about my family. It's not going to go very far.
Oh, the public won't care, Katie?
Right, and Republicans do something very interesting. Perhaps he hasn't been paying attention. That wouldn't surprise me. It is, after all, President Joe Biden. But the Republican majority in, 3 weeks? Here's what they've done. The Born Alive Protection Act, which keeps babies born alive who survive an abortion alive, so treatment to a human being outside the womb. Every Democrat except one voted against that. What else have they done? Prohibit strategic petroleum sales to China, condemn violence against pro-life centers. They've addressed crime in D.C., abolished IRS agents, rescinded the national COVID emergency, and also addressed federal drilling. Sounds like a lot to me, so do something, Biden. Well, they have. That's not going to stop Republicans from looking into issues the American people care about, and yes, they care. You may dismiss them, but voters are not. Fox News polling, listen to this. Is this an important congressional investigation? FBI IRS bias, 71% yes. Hunter Biden, 61% yes. Afghanistan withdrawal, 68% yes. And the list goes on. So voters do care, and it's incumbent upon Republicans to make sure that the American people understand why they should care about the Hunter situation. It's not about going after the president's son. It's about national security.
That's such a great point, Ari, that not only is this, in my argument, typical of this White House narrative to dismiss, right, always deflect, but also it is incumbent on the GOP to remind the American public why. Part of the criticism of this administration since day one has been that there's been a disconnect over what Americans deeply care about, like inflation, with what the administration tells them they should care about. This poll that Kaylee just cited reflects that disconnect, but she also reminds us the GOP needs to hammer out exactly the reason why. It's not about Hunter, it's about conflict of interest and national security.
You just hit on it. And listen to the biased way the question was phrased. The House Republicans, Senate Republicans are going to investigate your family. What's the question? No, they're investigating Joe Biden. Joe Biden's family is meaningless in this. I, as a Republican, will never use the name of his son. His son equals evidence. The laptop equals text. It equals emails. It equals photos. It equals facts. Evidence. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about anybody's name. The issue is Joe Biden's behavior. Why did Joe Biden deny knowing about any business activities when it's been contradicted by proof that we have in a laptop that contains text, emails, and photos? That's all this is. It's about Joe Biden, not his family. And this is a word of caveat to Republicans. Republicans need to get that message too. Republicans should not make it about the president's son. If you do that, or the brother, if you do that, the American people will rally because we protect presidential families. It's about the president himself.
And that's a great point. I think at times the GOP is raising against a sort of bar with the mainstream media, twisting and phrasing it as such, but then it's all the more important that the GOP uses phrasing that can't be distorted to that point. Maria, I'd like to get you in here as well to get the opportunity for response after. What is your opinion on this vast disconnect we've been underscoring, as well as the importance of these investigations into the conflict of interest and potential impact on national security that the mainstream media and this administration seems to refuse to acknowledge?
Well, I mean, I wish House Republicans would listen to Ari, because that hearing yesterday was about Hunter Biden. It was about the news story. It was about a private company being able to say what's on their platform. It wasn't about free speech. So I think
yes, it was when the FBI had a weekly meeting.
Kaylee, let me finish. You spoke. Let me finish. I think that the House GOP cannot help themselves, because there is no evidence that anyone has seen that this involved national security or that Joe Biden somehow compromised national security. And what Joe Biden said in the State of the Union this week, he talked about inflation. He talked about record job growth. He talked about record low unemployment. He talked directly to the American people about the issues in their pocketbooks, at their dinner tables that they care about. And if the House GOP wants to hold hearings about Twitter and Hunter Biden and the New York Post, they will lose the next election. That's why Democrats did better than most people thought they would do in the midterms, because they're focusing on the base and these culture war issues that, quite frankly, it's not working for them at the ballot box.
There is evidence.
It's right here.
Joe Biden
Can I 31-page staff report from oversight committee?
If Joe Biden received, which is exactly
that's not
what evidence shows.
That's not evidence.
31 pages. Have you read the staff report from the oversight committee?
From Republicans.
Have you read
political
it?
document?
Also, have you read the political document?
I have, actually.
You have. Then you would know that there were 150 flagged transactions from the Biden family for the Treasury Department, and the Biden administration will not hand them over, despite it being.
What about all the Trump family?
Donald Trump Jr. didn't have a relationship with Ukraine and China, etc.
Well, and I think getting the prosecutor general fired in Ukraine who's investigating your son is suspect at best, or flying your son over on Air Force 2, shaking hands with Chinese businessmen, and then suddenly, deals got done that Hunter Biden was trying to get approved is problematic. Also, I think taking credit for jobs that are coming back from decimating the economy from COVID isn't going to ring as positive to Americans, particularly when a record high amount of Americans feel like they're financially worse off under Joe Biden. But we know for a fact that the FBI was having weekly meetings with Twitter officials. We know for a fact that they were trying to prime Twitter officials, telling them that there was going to be a hack and leak operation pertaining to Hunter Biden. And lo and behold, the night before, Twitter shuts down the sharing of the Hunter Biden laptop story, which, mind you, the FBI had been in possession of for quite some time, knowing that this laptop was real. The FBI sent 10 documents to Yoel Roth, to Twitter officials. What were in those documents? Why would they happen to send them the night before Twitter stopped the sharing of something the FBI knew to be true? So yeah, I think Americans care about the weaponization of their own government against the American people, and also censorship. If we lose the First Amendment, we cease to be a republic, we cease to be a free country. So I do believe that Americans care about all of these issues that are very, very important.
Yeah, and Maria, I wanted to ask you about, to dig in further what Kaylee pointed out, which is, you know, it's undeniable that the forensic financing and accounting of the situation as unveiled in grand jury testimony and by evidence submitted in briefs on both sides, actually, of the parties, including the federal government, acknowledges massive amounts of payments received by Hunter Biden and his corollaries on behalf of the Chinese government representatives as well as Ukraine political figures. So it boggles my mind that you can say in such a seemingly either oversimplistic or whitewashing way that there has been no evidence. There has been vast evidence as recorded in the court. And he's been referenced multiple times in there.
He's the big guy.
Testimony is the big guy. So it's surprising to me that you're not seeing what's clearly printed in these federal investigations.
DOJ is investigating Hunter Biden. We know that. We know that the Department of Justice has open investigation on Hunter Biden. Let those go forward. I'm not saying those should stop. I'm saying we should investigate if there's wrongdoing. The leap from that to Joe Biden is somehow compromised and has done things that were putting our national security at risk isn't there in the fact. And Lisa, what you just said, let me just finish, sorry, what you said about Twitter, we can debate Twitter, we can debate what should be allowed on their platform. When voters go to the polls, are they really going to say, oh, that New York Post story and the Hunter Biden laptop, that's why I'm going to vote for Republican? Your base will, independents won't.
Who was the big guy?
Independents won't.
Who was the big guy? I mean, 10% for the big guy. Who was the big guy?
Do you have any evidence that actually happened?
Yes,
The DOJ is investigating Joe Biden. They're investigating his classified documents. They're investigating his classified documents, including from his time during the Senate, which is actually the most suspect because he had to somehow get those out of the SCIF where you walk through multiple doors to get to. You sign in to get the documents. You sign out. You're supposed to give over your phones, all your electronics. So he probably had to stuff those down his pants to try to get them out of the Senate. So how did he do that? I don't even, regardless of the vice president documents, how did you get those Senate documents out? That is the question. Sorry, Ari, I'm a little fired up.
This is
Go
why
ahead,
this is a perfect conversation, such an illustration of the gaps between the parties, and a lesson about communication. For Republicans, we take it as religion. We've seen it, we know it, we believe it. Democrats reject it all. But the problem I have with the Democrats is that means you're rejecting the written testimony, the written word showing 10% for Joe Biden of business deals, which does mean that Joe Biden made money off of all these deals that his family was doing around the world. And secondly, you're rejecting the oral testimony of Tony Bobulinski, who was an insider who knew what was going on and said, yes, Joe Biden was the big guy. He got 10%. So, but Republicans' challenge is to make those facts of what's in print and what was testified orally to independent voters and some Democrats who are open-minded. Because we believe it, but the Democrats don't hear it, because Republicans just run around saying, Hunter, 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 as opposed to even evidence and facts.
I mean, why would you go out of your way to protect a man if he did something wrong? You have no obligation to protect somebody. I have no obligation to defend Trump when he does something wrong or says something that I don't approve of. I mean, anybody that does that blindly has an allegiance to the people they vote for are bootlickers. I would never justify anything. I'm not in a position to justify whatever he does. Yeah. Why would you jump just on camera in front of Fox News and tell everybody, oh, I think it was planted? I just don't get why people anymore don't admit, hey, I was wrong, I shouldn't have did it, or this is why it happened, God, or this happened. Admit that you was wrong, please vote. But you have people like this that blindly follow their leaders, their bosses, the people that they might agree with from time to time, or agree with the majority of the time. You justifying documents already been found, already been confirmed by the United States president. Yeah, but this dude's been in Congress for like 15 years, and Herschel Walker, he lost the race in Georgia. You can see why. Yeah. You got people like this in office making stupid accusations like this. Yeah. And you can see why
I just checked.
Well, you can see why Herschel lost. There's some stupid people in Georgia. Nah, I don't call them stupid. They're ignorant. Ignorant? Yeah, they're ignorant. They don't have the information. And if they lack the mental capacity to make a rational decision, yeah, they're stupid. There's some of that's going around too. A whole lot of that going around. Never underestimate the stupidity in this country. Yeah. While we losing elections. There's a lot of stupid people. A lot of stupid people on the right too. You know why? Because a lot of these people complaining that the elections are being stolen, they're not even going out and voting.
Come on.
It works both ways. You got stupid people voting for stupid people like this. Yeah. Then you got stupid Republicans staying home. Oh, they're just gonna steal it anyway.
No.
You know what's crazy?
Going out by
Republicans
herself.
actually discourage their own constituency to vote by telling you take away that instead of vote by talking about election fraud and elections are being stolen. Okay, I understand that, but man, you're doing more harm than good. Yeah, and then you tell them to only vote on one day, election day, when the Democrats are voting every day. Yeah. And then we came out with this whole abortion issue, which galvanized Democrats to go out and vote. Yeah. And then we're shocked that we lose. Yeah. And we lost by this much. Of all the stupid people that's on the right that didn't go out and vote, you sit back and complain. And to all the representatives that was running for office, all the Republicans that didn't put that abortion issue to bed, come up with something that both parties can live with. That's the reason why we lost. Not because our elections are being stolen. It's because, you know, that stupidity goes both ways. Yeah. It does. It really does. I mean, I think we're smart and right. Yeah. But we still do stupid shit all the time.
Come on, Amy. Come on, Amy.
That was another one, man. Another one in the book. That was a damn good show, man.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dana Perino, along with Judge Janine Pirro, Harold Ford Jr., Jesse Waters, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City. This is The Five. A Super Bowl stunner, the Kansas City Chiefs defeating Jesse's Philadelphia Eagles 38-35. It was a nail-biting fight to the finish, and we got brand new video of Jesse reacting to the loss. Jesse's fellow Philly fanatics had a little meltdown after the defeat and doing what Eagles fans do best, and somebody said they would have done that if they won or lost. Unleashing chaos in the streets until police were forced to intervene with pepper spray. Eagles fans were outraged by a late holding penalty on Philadelphia Eagles cornerback James Bradbury, who later admitted that he was in the wrong.
He ran a pivot wheel. I didn't pull it on the jersey. It is what it is.
It was also a big night for Rihanna, performing during the halftime in her first live show in 7 years. The singer performing a dozen hits and defying gravity, all the while she's pregnant with her second child. And the biggest moment came off the field. The king of late night holding court in his big Super Bowl ad.
Good job. New King of Late Night commercial ready to roll.
Isn't this great? Is this cultural appropriation?
Action.
Hello, America.
That's a wrap.
What?
Sorry, these ads are pricey.
That was super good. Okay, so Jesse, you are on all of our minds. How you feel?
Good girl.
As I was walking down to the studio today, a producer said, "Jesse, I'm sorry for your loss." And I thought to myself, did someone die? And then I realized she was talking about the Eagles. And then in a way I realized the Eagles did die. Not of natural causes, they were murdered by a referee who should have kept the flag in his pocket. They talk about running that pivot wheel. The receiver is running a crossing route, fake the cross, pivot back to the corner of the end zone. He's literally running in to the cornerback. There's holding on every play. You can put a flag on every play. It did not interfere with his ability to catch the ball. The ball was uncatchable. It was a knick-knack call, not the way to end the Super Bowl. It ruined the drama of the game. You know the Eagles are going to take the ball then down and either kick the field goal to tie, miss the field goal, or win the game with a touchdown. And you owe it to the team on the field to give them that opportunity. And then to just ruin the romance of the moment and just wind the clock down for a chip shot, it was sacrilegious. And I'm melancholy. And my wife has never seen me melancholy before. And so I'm milking it really, really hard. And I'm taking full advantage of it. But it reminds me of the way I felt after the election. both elections. And I think everybody in the country knows the feeling and why Philadelphia January 6th last night. Because it feels like there's just something not right. And we all know what it is. And whether it's lawyers, whether it's FBI agents, whether it's consultants, whether it's referees, people that have no business interfering in fair games interfere because they want to feel powerful, they want to feel important, or they just want to put their imprint on something. But I'm on to them, and we cannot let this happen again. We are losing our freedom in this country. We are, and flag by flag by flag, we are losing our ability to play fair. And it's been taken away from us, and it's going to take me a couple days to get over this. So I just ask the audience and everybody here around the table to just kind of give me my time, give me my space. There we go.
No.
You're asking for some space.
And a sandwich. Slow it down. Harold, down.
Is he right about the call wrong?
No, I thought the call at the end of the game was right.
No, it wasn't, Harold. Everybody knows it was a bad call. The only reason the player said that is because it's fine.
Well, don't start with that. The guy saved it. I think the call was...
He has to say it. No, he didn't. He's going to get fined. You're going to argue like that? Goodell's going to slap you with a six-figure fine. We can't afford that.
The call that should have been made, the call that I think was really wronged you guys was the Devontae Smith catch that they overturned. They never showed the video. They never showed the video that made it indisputable in my eyes, and I thought that was a bad call. It was almost like they were trying to make up for the 49ers game when he dropped the ball and they didn't do the replay. But let me get to the positive. This is a great game by Mahomes and Hurts. The league is in great hands. These two young quarterbacks, you got a phalanx of them across the league, including, I tell you what's funny, the Eagles fans booed Dak Prescott at the beginning of the Super Bowl after being announced he won the Walter Payton Award. This is for charitable acts. The greatest charitable acts of any football player. Dak Prescott wins it, and the Eagles fans boo him in the stadium. So the NFL wins there, too. Rihanna was outstanding. I didn't realize she was pregnant before. I think if you were in the stadium and watching how she was lifted up and dancing and the whole performance, I thought was just a masterpiece. So my boy, his commercial, he was outstanding. All my friends around and my family, could not have been happier for you. And the big winner of all was the Kelsey mom. She couldn't, the Kelsey parents. Both kids, the center, Jason, obviously Travis Kelsey, the tight end. What games they had, and as always, the league win. They had, I'm sure the numbers in this game are going to be just off the charts.
Well, they would have been bigger if they had let the Eagles go down with 2 minutes left, do the 2-minute drill, and end the game properly.
Yeah, Greg, did you feel for Jesse last night?
You know what? I felt so bad for Jesse that I did something I never do. I exercised restraint. How was that?
It's hard. I got a welfare check. I got a text about 10:30. Are you doing okay?
Yeah. That was pretty hammered, and I was like sitting there and I go, oh man, this is bad. And I go, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to make fun of it. And then I go, I can't. I'll just write, so how are you doing? And then I sent it. And then I put it down and I go, maybe I'll make fun of him tomorrow. But I did feel bad. I feel bad for anybody who lives vicariously through a team of men who don't care whether you live or die. But you taught me a lesson that I can pull back. But what have I been saying for years? What have I been saying for years? AI is the only way to eliminate human error, right? It's like we were talking about it. I said, like, you don't want to judge making a decision on an empty stomach. A ref is a judge. He might have had a fight with his spouse that morning, right? He might have been distracted by somebody up in the stands, the noise of the fans. You know, AI wouldn't be distracted. AI wouldn't have made that error. So I think we're looking at probably another arena where there's going to be an evolution of sorts. Yes.
Good idea. Judge, what did you think about the whole thing, and how do you feel? You wore red?
Yeah, red said everything speaks for itself. I'm wearing red. Okay, wait a minute, Jesse. Yeah, no, I said I was supporting the Chiefs. Absolutely. I was only because I love Mahomes, and I was so glad in the second half because.
Oh, my business.
Yeah, well, first of all, do you agree with how the Eagles reacted in Philadelphia? I mean, that was an invasion. That was a takedown of an institution. That was a January 6th. Do you agree that those Eagles fans were engaging in January 6th kind of behavior? Oh, no.
don't agree, but I understand.
You ain't in a bet then philosophically, ideologically, I always knew that about you, Jesse, but let me just say this, like everyone else, I ate way too much, I took way too much. First, I was worried about Mahomes, by the way, the second quarter. I was worried about Mahomes. I love Mahomes. Why? Because I do. And you don't know anything about him. That's all you need to know, Jesse. Oh, all right. And let me tell you another thing. I thought that first of all, I had everybody waiting for Greg's commercial. I was so excited. It was on twice. Yeah. It wasn't just before
halftime and after halftime.
Oh, Jesse, you didn't watch this? I thought you were watching the whole game. What about your Eagles? Okay, but anyway, back to me. I thought Bradley Cooper was, his commercial with his mom was great.
She's tiny.
She's very tiny, or he's very tall.
Yeah.
Can I say one minute? Your coach watched the beginning of that game, watching him cry as the Stars fan, and that was one of the most touching moments of the game. And
I thought it was locked after he shed tears.
Class act.
Yeah, a country music singer.
Why would he get fined 6 figures for that?
If you publicly disagree with the call, especially on that stage, the Super Bowl, Goodell will slap you with a humongous fine.
Wow, I didn't know that.
All you had to do was say, that was the call.
Yeah, that's their goal. He didn't have to admit
What's your answer there?
Read between the lines. Read between the lines. Play the tape again.
I think you're right.
Thank you.
I have to thank Morgan for the barbecue. I had barbecue that's just amazing. Just all over my apartment. Yeah, incredible.
Got that enjoy?
Yeah, he did. He had his uncle come over. Uncle Carl, which is Cat's dog, came over and they played for hours. Crap.
He looked happy in the picture.
What?
He looked happy in the picture.
He did. He did.
He's a happy one. All right, up next, where in the world is President Biden? Growing calls for him to speak out after ordering the military to shoot down 3 mystery objects.
Aliens, the Chinese, Harold's private jet. The pressure building on President Biden to come clean to the American people and explain what the heck is going on in our skies. The U.S. military shooting down a 4th object, making it 3 unidentified objects that have been taken out in the last 3 days. The first one was that Chinese spy balloon. The White House can't seem to get the story straight, but don't worry, at least it's not E.T.
There is no indication of aliens or extraterrestrial activities.
Now, well, loose lips might sink ships, but the vice president's lips are sealed about this now.
Are Ukrainian forces actively dropping chemical weapons on Russian soldiers?
Thank you, gentlemen. Professor, censorship isn't just done willy-nilly. There's always a purpose, an objective, some kind of motive for why some people want other people. The elected official in the land. Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, Twitter's Jack Dorsey, Apple's Tim Cook, Alphabet's Sundar.
Carrie Lake, rising star, potentially on a Trump ticket. Who knows? Well, that will go, and I'll ask you about that. But you again have not.
Now we've got this, folks. The U.S. is telling Russia to leave. The U.S. is telling citizens to leave Russia immediately. Yesterday, the U.S. on Monday issued a top-level advisory telling American citizens to leave Russia immediately and cease travel to the country as Russia's war against neighboring Ukraine continues, citing risks of harassment and wrongful detention for Americans specifically. No, there's something up, folks, because it's not like, whoa, all of a sudden they just started a war with Ukraine. February 24th will mark 1 year of this conflict. So what's really going on? I don't know. Maybe the fact that we've got tanks, Abrams tanks, and are doing a proxy war against Russia via Ukraine is leading to an escalation of a conflict with Joe Biden in the Oval Office and the Democrat Marxists in charge and neocon, bloodthirsty people like Lindsey Graham and others that support these needless warmongering. We may just be at the cusp of a new world war, folks. A pair of F-35 stationed in Northern Europe were dispatched to intercept a trio of Russian warplanes, including 2 fighter jets, last night after being detected flying towards NATO airspace with their transponders off. 3 Russian aircraft An intelligence gathering spy plane and 2 flankers were intercepted near the Russian-Polish border on Monday. While they did not enter NATO airspace, they were said to have approached Poland from a small Russian enclave in the Baltic wedge between Poland and Lithuania with their transponders turned off, and also flew in neutral airspace. Well, folks, what do we expect if we're sending tanks and what have you,
then you
and
can go
putting
over there
them right
and
on
eat
the
okay, Dallas, you go have it.
Russian border, and we have a year going into this, that Russia isn't going to do something? Why all of a sudden a level 4, the highest level, that's being announced by the U.S. government?
Eat what you guys left over. You guys get after her. I will be after your asses.
Of alerts issued by the State Department, which range from exercising caution to ceasing all travel. Why now? What kind of surge is going to happen in the first anniversary, folks? Are we getting drawn into World War conflict number 3? With this Joker, who knows what's really going on?
Let's roll the dice.
That being said, one thing that we do know is that they lie, and they try to blame everything they can on Trump and the Trump administration, even 2 years into their failed policies. Failed for us, the American people, but their policies are a success for what they are meant to do. And that is, Biden is part of the Marxist commie machine that's meant to weaken America and do the bidding of forces that were anti-American. Think the CCP, think globalist banker barons and others that want to rape and pillage our country of our resources, of our labor, and keep us all poor while we become nothing more than a vassal state to China and other international.
Persistence is the key to success. Let's play.
Girls get enough? I'm guessing so. Dallas, where you at?
Property. Time to pay the rent.
Go lay down. Evie, go lay down. Dallas, you better not be on any bed. Dallas, where you at? Dallas. Is that good? Did you have some good food? Mama gave you good food, yeah.
You're home. Maybe it's time to manage your portfolio. This city is really nice. Your
Here, let me let the little girl in. Look out. No, I'm gonna let the little girl in. She can come in now. You girls better leave her alone. Back. Go lay down. Go lay down. And Dallas, you better not be on my bed or you'll be in trouble. No. Come on. Leave her alone. Come on. Leave her alone. Yeah, she can come in. Yeah, she's in now. Yes, you're in. Yeah, Evie, no. Be nice. No fight.
Home sweet home. Have you thought about upgrading? Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. Double. Your rent is due. It's your turn.
Kisses? Aww, kisses. Kisses? Be nice.
Someone already owns this property. Time to pay the rent.
Be nice.
Your time has come.
That no.
Sometimes bad things happen. Smart investors never give up. Investing in this city.
Baby, be nice. Pull it down. Down.
Love what you've done
Down.
to the place.
Down. Lay down. Go lay down, Evie.
I wish you luck.
Go lay down. Down. Down.
How did you do that? Sometimes you have to pay the price.
To get the eat
Let's
yeah.
play.
She's hungry too. Down. Down. Down.
You certainly
Down.
had other plans for your money.
Down. 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 Down.
Let's
Down.
roll the dice.
Stay.
Home sweet home. Have you thought about upgrading? I wish you luck. Good news. Your time has come. As long as you're visiting, you're not in trouble. Not the nicest place to visit, but at least you're safe. turn starts now. Perhaps you should manage your portfolio. Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. You're home. Maybe it's time to manage your portfolio. Impressive. You must pay this player.
Down. Down. Evie, come here. Evie,
It's
come.
your turn.
Down. Down. Okay.
Don't give up. Persistence is the key to success. I wish you luck. You can't always decide what's going to happen to you. Let's roll the dice.
My little girl.
Whoa, you know what you're doing. Home sweet home. Have you thought about upgrading? Sometimes you have to pay the price.
Evie, come here. Evie, come. Come here, Evie. Come here, Evie.
Let's play. Luck is on your side. Someone already owns this property. Time to pay the rent. I wish you luck. How did you do that? You must pay this player. It's your turn. Your rent is due.
Stop. Evie, come
Shake
here.
the dice and see what the future holds for you.
Okay, you go to bed. Dad, okay.
Perhaps you should manage your portfolio. Let's roll the dice. I always like it when money comes my way. What's your offer? If there's demand, there will be an offer. Legacy. You did well. Excellent. Your turn starts now. As long as you're visiting, you're not in trouble. Sometimes bad things happen. Smart investors never give up. Let's play. I love what you've done to the place. Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. Impressive. You certainly had other plans for your money. I wish you luck. Sometimes you have to pay the price.
Meow.
It's your turn.
Meow. Meow. How you doing, little shit? Go bite Mounty's nose. Go bite Mounty's nose, Star. No, go bite Mounty's nose. Go bite Mounty's nose. Go get Mounty. Go get Mounty, Star.
Let's roll.
Call
the
Star
dice.
now. Go get Mounty. Go get Mounty.
Perhaps you should manage your portfolio. Well, that was unexpected. Your turn starts now.
Mounty, Star's being a butt. Star's a butt. Mal. She's right here, being a butt. She's being a butt.
Sometimes bad things happen.
Being a butt.
Smart investors never give up.
Go get her. Call her real quick.
Your time has come.
Go get Mounty. Go get Mounty. She's by me.
It's time to find out whether you have good luck or bad luck. I wish you luck. Whatever happens, don't settle. Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. You must pay this place. Let's play. I hope you're feeling lucky. Don't give up. Persistence is the key to success. Your turn starts now. Now's a good time to think about your next move. Your time has come. What do the cards have to say?
You did ain't got no carrots.
Let's roll the dice. I imagine you prefer this side of bars. You're home. Maybe it's time to manage your portfolio. Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. Your rent is due. It's your turn. Someone already owns this property. Time to pay the rent. I wish you luck. Investing in this city. Whatever happens, don't settle. Your time has come. Your rent is due. It saddens me to see you leave, but you put up a good fight. You must pay this player. Your turn starts now. Something good is going to happen. I can feel it. Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. Sometimes you have to pay the price. Let's roll the dice. Home sweet home. Have you thought about upgrading? Your time has come. Truly unfortunate. what you've done to the place. I wish you luck. Perhaps you should manage your portfolio. Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you. I love what you've done to the place. It's your turn. Sometimes bad things happen. Smart investors never give up. Your turn starts now. Don't give up. Persistence is the key to success. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I wish you luck. This town has never looked so great.
You gotta move so I can sit down. You gotta move so I can sit down, little shit. Yes. Pull it down, Della. Dallas, easy. Pull it down.
That's what I like to see.
Pull it down.
Home sweet home. Have you thought about upgrading? You certainly had other plans for your money. Let's play. You can't always decide what's
Evie,
going to happen.
what you done?
Your time has
You
come.
guys need to go outside because you did have a good meal. Now the little girl can't go out with you. She has to stay in. You guys can go out in the front yard, yes. Yes. Little girl has to stay in this time. Come on. No, little girl has to stay in this time. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, girl. Rah, 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 rah. You gotta stay in this time. Little girl's turn. No. They didn't eat all their carrots, though. They made a mess of their carrots. They gave me a can of food. They had a mess of their carrots. I keep checking the food. It's not ready yet. Potatoes are almost ready. Carrots are almost ready. I'm hoping the meat gets ready soon. I'm hoping it's ready by the time Marlene gets home. That's how she can't roast it when she gets home. And it ain't yet done. It was a big ass roast though. You know that, right? Huh? What? It was big. It covered that whole pot almost. Probably leave it in there. I didn't even put no celery with it. Carrots in the other. Did you put your glass where you can find them all the time? Because those you'll need every time you go outside. You'll need them when it's sunny out. Yep.
Let's roll the dice.
At least you got a good pair of sunglasses now. You didn't have a good pair now. You met before. Now you do.
Someone already owns this property. Time to pay the rent. It's your turn.
Get it, daddy. Easy on your biting, though. If she does bite hard, you just go, eek! A little hard for a guy to do, but still.
You're home. Maybe it's time to manage your portfolio. Sometimes you have to pay the price.